And only then can you shift to a new level of thinking that empowers you to have the success that you want. Hello, it's DeAnna. Hey, if you want to build your beliefs so that you can accomplish your goals and live out your dreams, then keep on watching. And if you would like to learn how to level up your personal growth mindset so that you can get rid of limiting beliefs, then why not click the subscribe button and the notifications bell so that way you'll be among the first to know when I upload a new video. In part 1 of our series on how to get the success you want, I'm going to be sharing my secret on how I learned to find success by letting go of my past. I'm going to be sharing with you my story on how I have let limiting beliefs stop me in the past and what I'm doing about it now. So I have a question for you. What is something that you really want that you feel like you're not able to create? So comment below, share it with me. I would really love for us to work on this together. So for me, it was success. I got to share a little story with you. It was about 10 years ago, and I was really feeling like I just couldn't attain success, that it was just right on the other edge of me and I couldn't get to it. And I asked my mentor at the time to just be honest with me. I asked her a question. I said, just be honest with me. Tell me, what's the one thing that I really need to work on, that if I could just master this one thing, if I could fix this, that I would get to this next level of success that I really am desiring? What is it? And she looked me deadpan in the face and said, get out of your own way. Well, that's not what I wanted to hear. So up to that point, I had really been working on my skills. Like I had mastered this one and I'd mastered this one. And I'm like, okay, and I'm the queen of this one. And I thought there was a skill. There's got to be one more left over that I'm just missing, or something that I feel like I've mastered that maybe I haven't. And I didn't want to hear that it was my mindset, that I needed to get out of my own way. That's not what I wanted to hear. But she was totally right. And I did need to get out of my own way. So I want to share with you kind of the journey and the progress that I went through to figure out what it was upstairs that was holding me back so that I could just learn to get out of my own way. And maybe you might have experienced this too, or you know somebody that is experiencing it and you could share this information with them as well. You know, it kind of that stuck feeling, like how to get unstuck. Well, how to get unstuck upstairs. So we're going to talk about that. What was it? What was my limiting belief upstairs? How did I need to just get out of my own way? Well, sometimes something that's stopping you is conscious and sometimes it's subconscious, right? So sometimes you know exactly what it is, and sometimes you're like me and you have no clue. Well, through a series of questions I'm going to share with you, I discovered that it was something from way back in my childhood. Now, this could be something that happened to you just a couple of years ago if it's in your subconscious, or it could be way back in your childhood. For most of us, I discovered it's way back in our childhood. And it was a limiting belief that I came up with through a series of events. And if you want to know what some of those events were, check out the video link on how I learned to work with my values. And that will kind of give you a little bit of insight in what was the idea that I wasn't good enough. I had come up with this limiting belief that I wasn't good enough, that no, me as a human being was not good enough for this level of success. I was okay for here. I had a really good work ethic, and that was okay. I was good enough for that, but it wasn't good enough for this. So I'm going to share with you some questions that helped me come aware of that and work through it. So here in part 1, we're going to talk about how I became aware of that, because I was completely unaware of it. It was there and I was working from it, but I was unaware of it. How did I figure it out? I asked myself a couple of questions. 1, what is it? Be aware of it. Acknowledge it. Is there something that's stopping you? Yes. The answer for me was Yes, like I said, sometimes you know, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you need somebody to just tell you. And that's where I was at. I needed somebody to tell me. So number one, acknowledge that there is a limiting belief, something that's holding you back. Okay, so number one, acknowledge it. So number two, ask yourself, what is something that I really want, something that I really desire? Like I dream about it and I want it, but then fears start creeping in, or a feeling of inadequacy starts feeling in. What is that thing that I want? And most importantly, what feeling of fear or inadequacy pops up when I think about that thing that I want? And you might not really be aware of that. So now start slowing down your thinking, ask yourself that question and wait for that feeling. It should generate a physical emotion and feeling inside you. If you're starting to get a feeling, and it's not a positive one, maybe a negative one, of fear, lack, anxiety, when that starts welling up in you, you want to acknowledge that and say, okay, what is it that's causing that? So for me, it was, I'm not good enough. Yes, I really desire that. I really want that. I want it. I want it. And I believe what scripture tells me, that God delights in the desires of my heart, and my heart really desires that. But all these feelings, like literally my body, my shoulders would rise, my heart would pound, I'd get sweaty, clammy hands, and just dry mouth, and think, I just can't have that because I'm not good enough. I just can't have that. So whatever's coming up with that thought, hang on to that. That's important stuff. There's gold there. That's important stuff. 3, write it down. You're going to write it down. Okay. You're going to write that down on the piece of paper. So what thought and emotion came up with that? Especially what thought? For me, it was, no, you're not good enough. You're not there yet. You can't have that. You're not good enough. Now, you write it down. I took a piece of paper on the left side. So for you guys, it'll be this way. So on the left side of the paper, I wrote down all the thoughts that were coming up. And then on the opposite side, I wrote down all the results that I was getting from that thought. So this is how you know it's limiting, when the results are not fantastic. I have my paper here, so I'm going to read it because I want to share like right to you guys and let you know, so that you know what I'm talking about. I wrote down, I won't be able to do it. I'll fail. I'm not good enough. I'll fail. I won't be able to do it. What was the result I was getting? Failure. And I literally didn't even try. Like, I didn't try. Honestly, did not try. So failure, because I literally didn't try, because I believed that I couldn't get it. So that was one of them. I can't really be loved for who I am. That was another thought that popped up. I can't be loved for who I am. So what was the result I was getting? Really bad, unhealthy relationships. Like really bad relationships. So the result clearly not positive, because the thought was not positive. So it's, if you're getting what you're expecting, and I was getting what I was expecting, which is that I wasn't lovable for who I am. So therefore, I wasn't getting people who love me for who I am. Very unhealthy relationships. I have made so many bad decisions, I'm not worthy of it. So that was a thought that I had that went on my paper. Not a great thought, right? I've made so many bad decisions, I'm not worthy of this great thing that I want. So what was I getting? Bad treatment. And a part of me believed that that's what I deserved, because I had done these things that were bad. So now I'm getting results not so positive, and I deserved it. Okay. So just so you know, those are all limiting beliefs that are a lie, and lies come from the enemy. God is limitless, and those things don't come from him. They come from the enemy, because the enemy wants to hold you back, and he wanted to hold me back big time. So write it down. So the point of this exercise is to help you realize exactly what you're expecting, and does it match what you want? Probably not. If you're like me and you're dealing with limiting beliefs, I didn't want those results. Who wants that? I didn't want the limiting beliefs. but I was living in them. And I had lived in them for so long that I was completely unaware. Like autopilot. I was on cruise control and I was trying to like change the speed without turning off the cruise control, and it wasn't going to happen. So the idea behind this exercise is to help you see if the results you're getting is exactly what you want, or are you getting what you're expecting based on a limiting belief. So now what? We're going to be taking this information, and in part 2, we're going to get together and we're going to help use it to create a new positive thought, a new empowering paradigm shift. Thanks for watching. I would love to hear from you. Hey, why not comment below? Let me know. What'd you think? Did you get a new thought out of this? Was there new information that you haven't heard before? Is there maybe something that's holding you back and you're like, maybe it's a limiting belief? Are you gonna use those questions to maybe dig it out so that you can get one step closer to living out your dreams? And if you found this valuable and you think others might, why not share this video on your social media platform so together we can stomp out limiting beliefs? Because what you believe to be true about yourself is powerful. See you soon. I'm getting so close. Close, but not there yet. For sure if it did or not. Limiting beliefs, and I don't even remember what else I was gonna say. Let's just start over, shall we? Am I improving my personal mindset? Yeah, that's what it says. And typically,